Welcome to my pro bike check with the Scott Genius LT. This is one bike that has been around the world with me. It's been to Whistler, it's been to America and across Europe. But before we get into those memories, let's take a look at the spec. Let's take a look at that frame. It's the Genius LT and it's a tuned edition in that neon green, which in my opinion really stands out in the videos and it pops in pictures. It's got 170 millimeters of travel, 27.5-inch wheels, and one thing that I found really easy to use is the internal cable routing. Super easy if you've got problems out on the trail just to adjust it or even replace gear cables. My favorite feature of the frame has got to be the low and the high adjustment. Generally, I run it in that low setting, which gives me a head angle of 66.5 degrees, slightly lower bottom bracket so I can just be really aggressive on the trail and push the bike's capabilities. Okay, so suspension both front and rear is covered by Fox. Up front, I've got the 36, so it's in the factory edition. You've got your Kashima coating to make it super smooth, and I've got an air fork, so it's a float version. I've got one orange volume spacer and one blue, and I'm running 77 PSI in that chamber. I've got low speed and high speed. With the low speed, I'm running 14 clicks. The high speed is relatively low. I'm only running 4 clicks on. And then I've got the rebound adjustment right down here, which I've got 8 clicks of that on. Coming on to the rear shock, well, that is a Fox Flow X2. You've got your high speed and your low speed compression adjustment, and then your high speed and your low speed rebound adjustment. And you've got volume spacers in there. I'm running 195 PSI with 4 out of the 5 orange volume spacers, just to make it really ramp up, so on some of those bigger hits, I don't bottom out and use the full travel. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about my cockpit. I've got one stem spacer in there. It's 15 millimeters in length. And then this is one thing that is really cool to me. It's the Kashima top cap. It's from my mates at Fox, Jordy and Collier. And then I've got a 60 millimeter Syncross stem, Syncross bars with matching red to the stem, and they're 780 millimeters in width with a 25 millimeter rise. I've got a set of Ergon GD1 grips. They're the thicker version to give me some dampening for my hands. Then you've got the Shimano XTR trail brakes with carbon levers just to save as much weight as possible. A SRAM XO1 11-speed shifter. And then on the other side, I've got the Crank Brothers remote for my seat post and the dropper. If I haven't said it already, then this bike is 27.5-inch wheel size, and the wheels are covered by Reynolds, so you've got the Enduro carbon wheel set. The inner diameter is 28 millimeters to give an amazing tire profile and as much grip as possible. The tires, both front and rear, are covered by Schwalbe, but with different models front and rear. On the rear, it's a Hans Dampf in the Trailstar compound. I've got 29 PSI inside of there, and it's set up tubeless. I'm using the Hans Dampf just to give me a little bit less rolling resistance. So it rolls faster in some of those bigger hits, but it's still an aggressive tire. Up on the front, well, this is something a little bit special. It's a First Ride Magic Mary. Comes in the Vertstar compound, and I've got 23 PSI in there. And I've got to say that this is a combo that really works for me. The brakes, like I mentioned, are the Shimano XTR Trails, and they're both front and rear, and I'm using 180 millimeter rotors at the moment. Sometimes I'll put a 203 up front just to give me that extra bit of stopping power, especially if I'm somewhere like Whistler or descending on the big mountains in the Alps. From the brakes onto the drivetrain, and I'm running that SRAM XO1 group set. So I've got that big wide range cassette ranging from 10 tooth all the way to 42 tooth. The XO1 mech is right there with the clutch system. And then let's take a look at that little chainring. And a lot of people actually, I'm gonna say, took the pee out of me for having such a small one, saying, oh, you're being weak having that. But on the ascents, on those technical challenging ones, we had to use a bit of trial skills to get up and hop. I've got to say, it made it so much easier. And before, I'd always been running a bigger chainring, 32, 34 and 36s. I'd never thought about going for a 30, and it's definitely transformed my opinion. Got a set of carbon cranks from SRAM XO edition. They're 175 millimeters, and it's all finished off with these big platform pedals from Crank Brothers. Really aggressive ones, so when I do unclip, I can get my feet back on, and I've got some stability. They're the Mallet DHs. Finishing touches on the bike are this Crank Brothers Highline saddle. It's got 125 millimeters drop, and attached to it is the Ergon saddle. It's the Enduro edition, and this has got carbon rails just to keep it super light. You might have noticed that throughout the bike there's a few weird marks, and one that really stands out is on the top tube, and this is from cruising Whistler laps down A-line. Just my knees were rubbing off it as I was cruising between jumps. Pretty weird, but pretty cool. The scariest thing that I've ever done on this bike has got to be in Whistler with crabapple hits. These are big jumps, 55 foot in fact, and you're going so fast into them that the bars are almost shaking. And when I made them, I was absolutely stoked. If you want to watch some more videos from GMBN, then I suggest that you click on this globe right here to subscribe, because you'll never miss one again. And to see videos that this bike really starred in, click up there for 5 essential skills every mountain biker should master, and click just down there for the epic ride that we did in Whistler. Don't forget to give it a thumb up like if you think it's super nice. Oh, and of course I forgot to mention the size. Well, it's a large.